Hey, so this video is on the most underrated places to live in Windsor. Because if you're looking at moving to Windsor, you're probably doing a lot of Googling and researching, and you're hearing me and other people talk about South Windsor and LaSalle, and those are fantastic communities. So what we're going to do today is we're going to look at other areas that are still fantastic, that a lot of people love to live in, but they just don't get attention from people on YouTube and on blogs for whatever reason, okay? So we're going to look at a couple really nice family areas that you can really raise a family in. Also, we're going to talk about a way that you can get a modern, updated home at a little bit more affordable price. Actually, we're not even going to talk about area with that one. There's something a lot of people overlook. Okay, all that is on the way. Let's dive in. My name is Ryan Kritz. I'm a real estate appraiser, and I'm a real estate agent in the Windsor area. I know real estate. Like, I help people move to Windsor all the time. I help people sell their house in Windsor and move. I'm into houses every day of the week. I know what they're worth. If you need help moving to Windsor and purchasing a property, feel free to give me a call. My number's on the screen, okay? Shoot me a text. That's probably the best way to get to me. If I don't answer, shoot me a text, and I'll get back to you. People reach out from YouTube all the time, every week. Feel free to do that as well. Okay, let's dive in. Okay, number one, I want to talk about Forest Glade. This is a really interesting area because it's characterized by tree-lined, winding streets. Now, if you look at this overhead view, like, it's easy to get lost in this area if you're new here, just because every street weaves and winds so much. Now, luckily, we live in an era of Google Maps, so you really don't have to worry. But it's a nice suburban area. It was built up in the 60s, so at the time, split-level homes were very popular. So you have back splits, you have side splits, and you have bi-level homes in this area. That's predominantly what makes up this area. So let's look at this house here. This is a 4-level back split with an attached 1-car garage. This sold for about $550K. If you pick this up and you plop it in LaSalle, you're paying $750 for this. Okay, so here's another one. This sold around $585,000. It was out of date inside. Like, it needed some renovating to make it really nice. But I mean, it's still livable. It's just a little out of date. Solid home on a quiet street, and again, that sold for $585,000. There's a lot of living space there. Like, it's a good square footage for the price. This one I wanted to include. This is not typical, okay? Because this one, I rarely see a house renovated this nicely, okay? So this one is right on Forest Glade Drive, and it was renovated to the nines. Like, they did not spare any expense when actually renovating this place. It's freaking gorgeous inside. Luxury, I would even say. So this sold for $665,000. It had 2 kitchens in it, and it was right across the street from the community center, which has an ice rink, tennis courts, basketball courts, a splash pad, a whole bunch of cool stuff like that. Really a great location. $665 is high for those, but it's just because of the way it looked inside. So if you want cheap, pay attention right here, okay? So you're going to want to look at this upper half of the Forest Glade area that you see on your map right here. It's not quite as nice as the lower half, I'll admit, but I mean, it's not bad. There's no, like, crime and a bunch of stuff like that in the area. There's more semi-detached and townhome type homes up here. So this one right here sold for $350K in the last few months. So as I mentioned before, Forest Glade Community Center is right here, okay? Now, this is like the heart and soul of the Forest Glade community. Everything is on this massive plot of land. You got the ice rink right here. If you're new to Canada, man, we love our hockey, okay? So they'll have hockey at that ice rink all the time. They'll have ringette. They'll have lacrosse play there. You got tennis courts right here, okay? And then you have brand new basketball courts up here. You've got a skateboard park right here for kids. You got a splash pad for the little ones, as well as a jungle gym, and you have the actual community center, which has a gymnasium in it, so they host things in the summer for, like, summer camps for kids and stuff like that. Like I said, that really is the heartbeat of the Forest Glade area is right there. Okay, so next is not an area, okay? I know this video is underrated areas of Windsor. This is actually a type of house. Super underrated is a semi-detached home. People from YouTube call me all the time wanting to move to Windsor, and sometimes they will say to me, Ryan, I don't want a semi-detached house. I asked them why, and it seems like, A, they might be afraid that the value won't go up as much, which is wrong. And then, 2, they're worried they're going to hear their neighbors, which is also wrong. Guys, it's not 1920. These houses are not built like they used to be built. I've lived in semi-detached homes when I was younger. I know friends that live in semi-detached homes. I've sold a lot of semi-detached homes. I've never once heard the neighbors, okay? However they're building the walls between these units, it's not just a sheet of drywall, guys. Like, you don't hear it. Also, hear me out here. This is a great way to get a newer built house at an affordable price. Because that's the other thing people will say to me. They'll call me and they'll say, I want a house, it's got to be built within the last 15 years. And I tell them, do you have $1 million? Because honestly, houses built in the last 5 years are definitely $1 million or over. If you stretch that out to the last 20 years, you're still paying $750 at the lowest, and usually it needs updating. You're closer to $1 million for a house built in the last 20 years. Unless it's a semi-detached. It's a way to get into a modern, updated house at a reasonable price. So, for example, this is a semi-detached house in the community of LaSalle. Okay? For the same price as this house, if you made sure I don't want a semi-detached, I want a detached home, all you could afford is something like this. Okay? Now, this is a nice house, too. It's got no basement, though. It's like 800 square feet. 1 bathroom, no basement, 3 bedrooms. So there's not much space in there. Still nice in a nice area, but it's a completely different thing than this. Do you know what I mean? These are the same price. They're the same price. So if you're really adamant that you want something that's more modern, newer, and a little bit more space, it's better to go with the semi-detached. Also, they hold their value and increase in value very well. Like just as much as a detached home. For example, look at this house right here. This is a semi-detached, again, in LaSalle, one of the best areas. Back in 2019, this sold for $300,000, okay? Fast forward 3 years, okay, this house sold just down the street for, what was it? Hold on, I got it written down. It was $550,000, okay? So it jumped almost 100%, close to 100% of its price within 3 years, which is about what the market did as a whole in LaSalle. Okay, so it kept pace with all those detached homes as well. So you're still getting great property appreciation. You can still get good rent if you're renting it out, and you actually get a modern home with an attached garage. I'm telling you, semi-detached are really underrated by a lot of people who are coming to Windsor from out of town. Remember, you can always reach out to me if you want updated pricing, because if it's 6 months to a year down the road, the pricing I lay out is going to be wrong in this video, okay? Pricing is always time sensitive, so you can always text me if you want to know how much these houses are really going for right now when you're watching this. My number is on the screen. Again, I appraise houses and I sell houses. I do this 7 days a week. I know what I'm talking about, probably more than anyone else in this community. Okay, next up for underrated places to live in Windsor, this is Amherstburg right here. I love Amherstburg. I talked about them in another video. It's a beautiful little community, and in my opinion, just far enough away from everything else so that you really do just feel like you're in this small little town. You know what I mean? So it's a 35-minute drive if you want to get into Windsor from Amherstburg. People in Windsor don't love that much because we don't like driving too long around here, but if you're coming from London, Kitchener, Mississauga, Toronto, I mean, you're used to driving. That's probably nothing for you. 35 minutes into Windsor, and you get to live in this little wonderful community. It's a historic town, okay? So if you go to the downtown right here, this is one of the reasons I love it. A lot of historic little buildings with quaint little shops, great restaurants around there. Also, waterfront right here. And so they have the Navy Yard Park, and it's called that because it was once a Navy Yard in the War of 1812. It helped Canada, or British Canada, win the war of 1812 against the Americans. So you can walk down there, you can look at the statues, you can read the plaques, you can just enjoy the nature of the park in the water. In the summer, you'll see big ships coming through. You'll see people on jet skis going by. Like it's a really nice vibe in that area. Also in the summer, they'll have festivals down around there. Like they'll have that classic car festival where everyone around Ontario with a really nice classic car comes down there, and of course they'll have vendors out. They'll be selling ice cream, hot dogs, pizza. It's a fun afternoon. There's a couple really good ice cream shops around there too, by the way, you can check out. So a house like this in Amherstburg, it's going to cost you between $650,000 and $700,000, which, to be honest, that's still a good deal. A house like this is going to cost you like $550,000 to $600,000, and a small, cute little home like this, 3 beds, 1 bathroom, no basement, that's going to be around $400,000 in Amherstburg. This home right here is a new build. It's a semi-detached home, which we just talked about, $700,000. Okay, but remember, brand new build, so it's pretty much luxury inside. You're going to have an ensuite washroom, you're going to have walk-in closets, you're going to have tray ceilings and all these cool features, granite and quartz, everything, pretty much luxury. If that was a single house, it'd be $1.1 million, but because it's a semi-detached, you can pick that up for about $700,000. Okay, last but not least, for underrated places to live in Windsor, is this section right here of Sandwichtown. Okay, so it's no secret that Sandwichtown is a rough area. Like I mentioned this in other videos, if you Google Sandwichtown crime or Sandwichtown murder, you're going to get news reports like this that pop up on your screen. It's rough, but what they're talking about is Baby Street, is Felix, is Peter Street. All this area right here is really rough. But you see this road here? This is Prince Road. For whatever reason, this acts as a dividing line. Like the ghetto is up here in this area. Down here is actually really nice. If I were to blindfold you and drop you off on that street and take the blindfold off, you would think you were in South Windsor, one of the nicer areas of town with homes of similar age, okay? You would think you were on Church Street down there in South Windsor, okay? But you're not. You're in Sandwichtown. So look at this. This is Google Street View of South Windsor, okay? A really nice area with homes that are kind of expensive. And then this is Google Street View of Sun Valley Drive, which is the section of Sandwichtown that I'm talking about that's actually pretty good. Okay? Like, they look pretty much the same, don't they? Also, the location's pretty nice because you got 2 really good parks nearby. You got Malden Park right here, and you got Micmac Park right here, which you're actually backing onto. And between the two of them, you got bike paths you can go on. You got little hiking and walking trails. You've got baseball diamonds. You got a splash pad for the kids. You got jungle gyms for the kids. There's a lot that's available to you between these 2 parks, and they're both right there. Also, EC Row. Okay, our expressway is right here. The bridge to Detroit is pretty much right here. The 401, you just go down this street. Like, it's actually a really good location. So that's it. Those are the most underrated areas of Windsor that I want to mention today. There's probably more that I just haven't gotten to. I know if you look below, I bet you there's people commenting like, "What about my street?" And they're all mad about it. But this video can't be like an hour long, guys. Come on. Yeah, so if you want more information about where to live in Windsor and you want to move here, again, I know property values and I know the city like no one else. So you can give me a call or shoot me a text. That's my number on the screen. Let me know if you're looking to purchase a home in Windsor. Check my channel out. I got a ton more videos. You're going to love them if you're moving to Windsor. Trust me.